back, and I have my special guest in the building with us, Miss Jessica from Gourmet Goody Box.
Gourmet Goody Box.
Jessica, how you doing?
I'm alive and well.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's a blessing, yes, sir. No, it's all good in the hood. I feel good.
Well, I wanted to interview you, and because I love the fact that you're an entrepreneur out there doing your dreams and really pushing for that and making a living from it. One, not that many people are courageous enough to go out there and do that.
Right.
But then two, it seems from my perspective that you're successful in doing so with something that most people wouldn't, really gravitate towards.
Right. Well, it's
Being,
a part of who I am, so I can't do anything else but to be myself. So it kind of exudes out of what I do.
What really got you started? I guess is it fair to call it vegan food, or what? How would you?
Yeah, it's 100% vegan food, so everything is plant based.
Okay.
I started because I was overweight,
Mm.
inching up 400 pounds, and my son was going on 3 years old, and I couldn't play with him like I know I should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a mom, I would take him to the park, but I'd be one of the ones that are sitting on the bench. Be careful, don't go over there. Be careful.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not cool. So I went from then I started exercising like a beast, and I was dropping weight. But my husband was like, you know what? If you couple that with some healthier eating, it'd probably drop faster. Of course, I was like, I'm still losing weight. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was still, I had my aches and pains. My ankles was hurting, my back, and so I took that advice and we started doing vegetarian, which
Okay.
is, you can still eat meat, cheese, and dairy, just not the actual meat. And that was working for us. But then we kind of wanted to push it a little further, and we ended up being 100% vegan after probably about 60 or 80 days. It was a couple months after we actually went vegetarian, from vegetarian to vegan, and it changed my life. I dropped over 125 pounds. And
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. Feels good.
I bet it does.
It does. It's from not really being able to walk and jog to running miles. It's like
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
So you basically just transitioned in from, wanting it to, to lose weight, to become healthier, to be active with your son, to be like, okay, now that I've gotten this experience, I can now flip this into, because it's a passion then,
Right.
and I tell a lot of people, you can turn your passion into a profit. You just got to be able to, have that structure to it. So when did you, start testing it to put the, fillers out there to see how people will respond?
Well, it started out actually when we moved to Macon. We've been in Macon for going on 3 years.
Okay.
And, I was always cook for family events for my family because we were the only ones that were vegan, of course. And it went from that to my husband, like, the food is really good. And then family and friends saying, this food is really, really good. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started selling cupcakes. Because I figure, people really don't know about this vegan lifestyle. They're more willing to buy a cupcake versus a sandwich.
Yeah.
So we started at the farmer's market, started selling cupcakes and cookies and my sweets because I love sweets. And a lot of people started eating with us and didn't even know it was vegan. And so I was like, cool. So going on to about a year, hubby was like, I think it's time to bring out the food. So we got a food trailer. He built it from bottom up. And it was people were more willing to try our sandwich because they tried our cupcakes and our cookies. So it was easy to do that little transition into our regular vegan food.
So this is y'all's first enterprise as far as a business? How you liking it so far?
I love it. This is our first adventure as far as this side of what we do because we've done a lot of we're artsy people.
Okay.
So having a regular 9-to-5 job was always difficult for me just because I'm not like
you don't
that.
fit in that realm. Yeah,
right. So before
I definitely understand that.
You know what I'm saying? So before we moved here, we were musicians.
Okay.
And we still are, of course. But that's all we did. So it was nothing like 3 or 4 times a night, 3 or 4 times a week, singing, performing, to moving to Georgia and not really having that. And so it was like, I'm doing what I love, which is teaching my children at homeschool. And I was still cooking. So cooking has always been a constant in my life. So being able to provide that for others that are on this vegan journey or even trying just a healthier lifestyle, it just makes me to another level of me. You know what I mean? It brings me joy to
So where y'all originally from?
I'm originally from Germany.
Oh, okay.
Army brat, of course. And my husband's from Florida.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So why Georgia? Then I guess
My
what
sister,
Warner Robins or
Macon, straight here. My sister's been here for close to 10 years,
mm-hmm.
and she's been trying to get me up here for I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally moved to Georgia, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in Macon. It was in Jonesboro.
Okay.
And then things didn't work out there. Job wise, and then we moved here because my sister was like, my husband can get your husband a job. Got a job, didn't work there, so we kind of like stayed in here. He was still playing, playing the piano, as that was our income. And so I figured may as well try this venture because I'm a hairstylist too, so it was kind of like we were just doing everything that we love to provide an income, but it was never anything like it was before as far as performing, because that was like what we did full time.
Yeah.
So to do that and do little odd jobs when we came to Georgia was like, something has to give. And
so with that being said, because I'm all for the independent artists and musicians and stuff, what genre of music did y'all mainly perform, or what were y'all known for?
we were known for like neo soul, but we did a lot of pop, a lot of R&B,
depending on and stuff,
a lot of covers. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But we every now and then we'll get those one gig there's like, oh yeah, I want to stay here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like neo soul, I could freestyle. We could just be ourselves. That's my heart. But of course, people want to hear what they hear on the radio. So,
well, there's a lot of there's a market for everything.
Yeah.
It's just how you present it. But then I think that's one of your other passions and one of the things, because as a creative, you just love the creation process. I think that this actually can be a catapult for that, because you come in contact with a lot of people. So then people become familiar with your brand and your name and stuff, and then they're like, oh, she could do this and she could do that as well. So then it's just it's an easy transition.
I believe so.
So how long has Gourmet Goody Box been in existence?
Since May of last year.
Okay, so still new.
Still brand new. People are still finding out that I cook food. You know what I'm saying? Like real food versus just our cupcakes.
Yeah.
So we had, my old brand was Sweet Vegan Treats, because that's all I provided was sweet vegan treats. It's obvious, right? But then providing the food aspect, I'm like, well, I can't be called sweet vegan.
Because your menu expanded.
Exactly. So it's been Gourmet Goody Box since May of last year.
I think that has a nice ring to it too, though.
Oh yeah, it's funny to be at the markets and then you hear people's conversation. Oh, what's Gourmet Goody Box? Oh, what's Goody Box? I'm like, come closer, come check us out. So it's a whisper. I can hear the whisper among the people that walk by.
You have a lot of repeat customers.
Oh,
is that just like your bread and butter?
Yes, definitely. It's crazy because a lot of our people are not vegan. That's the thing that I think is so beautiful about what we do, is it doesn't have to quote unquote taste vegan, whatever that means.
Well, when like I've learned, and I haven't done all the research that I probably should need to do about, but that's what I would hear. And this is before, I guess, a lot of other people started putting out vegan dishes and showing what you really can do with them. But a lot of people was like, vegan food is stale,
cardboard, tastes like cardboard.
or like tofu type of taste, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to eat that. People want stuff with flavor still, and it's kind of hard to replace what you have when people have already been accustomed, to salty foods, fatty foods, greasy foods, whatever the case may be. So, but of your menu that y'all have, you say you do sandwiches, you do cupcakes. I saw like a cake and stuff that looked. Was that a cake? I was looking at it. Did you send me the picture? Yeah, that actually looked. I was like, man, it's still looking good. I'm like,
it's funny because when people taste our cupcakes, it's like, wow, this tastes really good, and it's a basic, recipe in my head. You know what I'm saying? Just because I've been doing it for so long. But when you're actually using good ingredients, you can taste that. You know what I mean? And it's not just good ingredients; it's organic.
Yes.
So we use organic, or unbleached, like just the natural raw ingredients, and so now you can actually taste the real flavors of these foods. You know what I mean?
What food actually supposed to taste like.
Exactly.
Because a lot of food, been an avid gardener for like the last couple of years. Cool. Yeah, so I grow a lot of everything, really. Like I got apples, pears.
You have apples?
Yeah, I have 2 apple trees. Fig tree I put in the ground last year. 2 pear trees, 2 apple trees, grapes. 2 peach trees.
Nice.
Do a lot of greens, collards, kales, spinach, carrots, potatoes, brown, red.
Wow.
The blue Viking potatoes that a lot of people don't even eat. The purple looking.
Yes.
Those things, no, those things are expensive. Go and try to buy those things in the store. I was like, oh hell no, I'm gonna grow mine. I got to buy you some seeds and just save the, But anyway, I can get into that a lot because that's all I do.
That's beautiful.
Back to the taste. When I started doing that, I realized like strawberries and stuff. Like I grew my own strawberries the last couple of years, and even my kids realized the taste of it. And come to find out, they take strawberries and they gas them with methane gas or whatever gas it is to make them turn red.
That color red.
When they're actually white. I didn't know strawberries were just like white, and then they started to develop the color red over the process of the fruit, and it tells you when it's ripe to pick.
Right.
So it's like just learning agriculture in itself and knowing how stuff is really supposed to taste.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I eat other stuff, I'm like, yeah. People
you can taste the difference.
Exactly. You really can taste the difference when you have organic stuff and your own grown. And now, my wife, she goes out and she buys a lot of organic stuff. I can even taste the difference between fresh eggs and regular eggs.
I'm sure.
They even cook different to me. I don't know if, that sounds crazy.
Not at all.
But they cook different. I'm sitting there, I'm like, this egg is cooking different than, when you go and buy the little cheap 99-cent eggs with it because it's so processed now. And I'm like, we really have to step back and look at what we consume as a people and, why we consuming and stuff like that, but be able to see all these different diseases that we're not supposed to have.
Exactly.
I interviewed a nutritionist, or not a nutritionist, but he's a gym person. Personal trainer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more than just that though, because he's a motivator. He studied nutrition, so I just didn't want to give him, one one label. But in studying nutrition, whatever, he's able to explain to everybody how it all fits together, and I think that's where we're lacking the connection. And watching a lot of different documentaries and seeing how we have plants that just naturally will heal us.
Yes.
And a lot of our problems, they say like 90 to like 95% of our diseases can be eradicated by nutrition.
For sure, 100%. Because I said, like, I had pain in my ankles, my back, and once I started dropping that weight and changing that diet, gone.
It just goes away.
Whatever the pain was, it was eradicated by that.
And then we can naturally detox our bodies and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. Didn't realize, all these different things that we do. I saw something where, if you put certain plants by your nightstand, when you go to sleep, they produce oxygen overnight, like aloe vera, snake grass, ivy, and something else. You wake up because you're being oxygenated. Wow. The oxygen, is going oxygenated. I don't even know if it's a real word.
It is
today. But it puts out that oxygen out, and you're breathing it. So then you're taking it in. So then your cells are being full of oxygen, and any toxins cannot survive in your body when your body is healthy.
Exactly.
I'm like, they need the toxicity. They need the bad environment to be able to thrive. Right. So you're changing that, and I'm like, I'm loving this information that I'm finding out, and I'm passing it on to my kids. But I just want our community, to really start looking at what we're doing and what we're really putting in our bodies, and how it's very important. Even, buying food and getting food from people like yourself who are passionate about what y'all do, and then using really good ingredients that yes, I know, I'm sure it's more expensive.
It is
to make,
but it's worth every single penny. I promise you. Like, I would not, if I can't feed it to myself or my children, I'm not going to feed it to my community. When it comes to organic, that's a big deal for me, because there's certain foods that you definitely straight off the back should only get organic. The thin skinned fruits and veggies, if they spray in them fields, how easy and quick it gets into the actual fruit or vegetable. So it's just like, with what we do, even with our meat quote unquote substitutes, we use straight up veggies. It's no soy. Really? It goes down like that?
Yeah. It is what it is. You're important. Somebody probably placing the order for tomorrow.
This is what they do. Seriously. And I encourage people because we sell out very, very quickly on certain items, especially familiar items like our nuggets and our burgers and stuff like that, things that people can...
Tell me about that. Your burgers, like what does it consist of?
Like our garden burgers, of course, I make the buns from scratch, and the burgers I make from scratch, and they're bean based and veggie based. Oh. So there's no soy, no gluten in the actual burger. Like our pulled barbecue is straight up jackfruit. Our nuggets, jackfruit. Our meatballs, straight up veggies. Like it's a whole process, and it's like to be able to provide good tasting food and you feel good after. That is. Man, it just does some. It brings me life.
I'm definitely curious and wanting to experience this particular type of food because I've seen different interviews with like Russell Simmons or something, and they're talking about eat a veggie burger, just old fashioned ways of a burger. A burger, red meat.
Right.
You're not gonna taste the meat, but I'm definitely wanting to try some of this stuff, but I always wanted to try, someone's food who either people have said that they're good at cooking, which I looked at the Facebook profile page.
Okay.
And I saw 44 5-stars and 1 4-star, I believe. Okay. No 3s, no 2s, and no 1s. I'm like, that's got to be phenomenal to be able to get that because 45 people, 4-star or better. And I'm like, you can't find people's pages, especially with food, because everybody's a critic.
Right.
We all have our own particular taste. But to find something, especially in that particular market, where I know it has to be hard to really pull flavor out of, all these different vegetables and stuff. But maybe, you're showing us something totally different that can be done and, inspiring others. So you don't have any culinary background, do you?
I do not.
So it's basically all trial and error.
I'm telling you it is. You could ask my husband, like, when we first got married, I cooked out of a box. Everything was boxed or canned. So, like, we literally started from the bottom, now we're here type deal. I am so serious. It was crucial. I mean, and that's why I carried weight, and that's why I was in pain. That's why, that's the truth be told. It was a bad situation. But it's like when we ventured out to try this thing called veganism, it's like I had to be more creative. I had to make the time. And like in the beginning, that's how a lot of people get discouraged because it's like, oh, I have to look at the back of the ingredients on everything. I have to look. Yes, you do. But it's for the betterment of you and your family. And the longer you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, economies of scale. That's a business term that a lot of people use. The more you do something in repetition, what normally would take 2 hours only becomes an hour. 3, 4, 5 months down the line. How often do you have to really prepare your meals, and like how much time is it to
on a regular day? Outside of the food trailer, like for my family or for the food trailer?
Well, actually for both, because you have to split your time.
Right.
We all have the same amount of time.
Child, I be in the kitchen cooking for the food trailer and for my family. It's all blurred together. But as far as cooking for my family, it's real quick. When you have a menu, it's easy. If you prep, Sunday prep, it's easy. As far as for the food trailer, because we provide the same things, it's like second nature for me. But an average day, it takes a while to do breads because I have to let it sit and rise and in the oven. So that could take a few hours because I will not come short to buying my bread from the store. I just won't do it because I don't do it for my own family. You know what I mean? Because of the amount of diglycerides, just the other stuff, just a whole bunch of. I look at some of the ingredients and I'm like, how do they have 30 ingredients when I just have 5?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of like put that in perspective.
Well, if you watch some of those food things on Netflix, which I've been doing,
you have to.
And I'm like, man, they put so much stuff in everything. I'm like, damn.
Everything. Some of the stuff you'd be surprised.
Poison.
Yes. You'd be surprised what they put in certain things. It's like, why would they add that? Like, why is that necessary? You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's not
not.
necessary. But for those that are trying to go vegan or thinking about vegan, I just think, or people that are just newly vegan, watch those documentaries. Let it be a part. Once a month, sit down and watch a new documentary just to keep it fresh, keep that connection with what you're doing in your life. Because a lot of times we lose that connection with our food, which is like the most vital thing that everybody has to do is eat. You know what I mean? So that should be the most important, that we take actual time to pay attention to what we're doing. But a lot of people say, oh, it's hard, it's too hard. Mind over matter, baby. You know what I'm saying? If you set your mind, you'd be surprised the things that you can accomplish.
Hey, I tell people that all the time. I even had someone I was telling last night about, it's just about willpower and mind over matter,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's what you want to do, because I'm like, we're sacrificing convenience for health.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to live as long as, possible, and, see grandkids and great grandkids or whatever, be able to just run up and, like, kick them or something. And they'll still be an old man that can move around. Because I've seen, and, the interesting thing is, when I used to work at Norfolk Southern, we would sit there and have all these different conversations in our downtime of the job. And, like, one of the conversations were, when did we really start as a people start having like heart attacks and stuff? I was like, I think the first one was recorded like in the 1940s, maybe 50s or something like that. So I'm like, okay, we've been alive for a long time, and we've been studying as far as anatomy and, having physicians since like, 16, 17, 1800s or whatever. And, that's a scientific based position. Why is it all of a sudden now we're having these things wrong with our heart? And I'm like, what did all those people have back in common? They grew their own food. They made their own bread.
Yeah.
They did what you're doing now in today's times. And I'm like, it's all about the food. It's all about health, agriculture. And I'm
agriculture.
like,
And nobody wants to do it. Because it's hard.
It's not, but that's,
But it's not.
gardening, it has taught me that it's not really hard.
Yeah.
You just have to understand the process. Like,
And
I have
love the
not watered,
process and that.
I have not watered my garden in, I think, about 2 months.
Really?
I still have stuff growing.
Wow.
Even during the wintertime. I'm like, and then when people think you can't grow anything in winter, that's actually false. There's certain plants that are susceptible to cold, and they actually like it and they thrive off of it. But I'm like, kale, you can grow that year, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, it doesn't care. It just keeps growing.
Wow.
Greens, you can do the same thing. There's some other stuff out there too. Spinach, carrots, you can grow them when there's snow on the ground. As long as they're in the ground as a seed before it starts snowing, they'll grow throughout winter or regrow and come back for the spring. So it's just a lot of things that, we're not being taught, and I think that's being lost through that.
For sure.
And at what point are we going to really, take back something so simple to be able to expand life expectancy? Because I don't believe we should have diabetes. That's man-made disease.
Exactly.
All this other stuff, we shouldn't have like high blood pressure. Like I went to the doctor because I was sick, and it was shocking that the doctor looked at me. He was like, "You have great blood pressure." I'm like, "Oh, why is that so surprising? Why does that gotta be? Why you gotta put me in this category of, okay, I see all these patients or whatever, so I'm expecting this particular result?" And he was like, I'm telling you, should say his eyeballs just lit up. And he was like, "Oh my God, you have great blood pressure." Well, I don't eat a whole lot of stuff, and if I do, I always follow it up with, like, okay, if I have cheat days or whatever, I'll go straight to salads and fruits and all that, and let my body go through and process it and just detoxify or whatever it needs to do and get rid of all the bad stuff that I did put into it. I'm like, we shouldn't fit into these categories.
And it's unfortunate. I was just talking to a young lady today about our children, of course, because it's like, how you going to raise a child to be vegan? You brainwashing them. People say some stuff.
Yes.
But we ain't going to talk about that. It's a whole nother show. But they ask about my children every time I take them to the pediatrician. They take their blood work and all that stuff, and they're surprised, like, oh my goodness, blood work come back good, your analysis come back great, but they're overweight. I'm like, well, my daughter literally sits around and eats lettuce throughout the day. Like, cows eat grass all day, and they huge. So it's not necessarily, you can't judge a book by its cover. But they're just like, what's going on inside of you? You know what I mean? You could be lean and not be healthy.
Yeah.
And so that is the ultimate goal is to be healthy. I know a lot of lean people that have high blood pressure or diabetes.
Can't be around, or arthritis, or whatever the case may be. All these different things that you can actually cure and get rid of. But yeah, like you said, they shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because healthy is different from everyone.
Yeah.
You know, there are some things that are genetically predisposed to, come up or whatever. Like, we all got cancer in us, right? We all have the possibility of cancer spreading throughout our body and everything, but what you put into it to
can feed
foster
it,
that, exactly, that environment.
Yeah.
To either where it doesn't show up at all, or it starts showing or whatever. But as far as what y'all want to do, and I guess now that you have a business, you have to start setting goals and stuff like that, because you see the demand, you see that you're educating the public, and you're accomplishing all these things that you probably didn't even necessarily set out to do. But because it is who you are now, and it's a part of your life. What do you see yourself doing, or what do you see y'all doing within the next couple of years, or do you want to expand into, like, I guess the restaurant, or maybe a store where you can package meals, or what do you?
It's funny you asked that. The reason why I was behind schedule. Okay, let me start off by saying this. Okay, the initial goal was to take our food trailer and just be able to travel, to be convenient for people, to set up at businesses so that people can be, the excuse of, I don't have time will be out the window because we're right in front of your doorstep. You know what I mean? That type of deal. So that was the initial goal. And then the more we did the markets, and we only do the markets twice a week. We do it one here in Macon and then one in Warner Robins.
Okay.
So after doing that for a couple months, people starting to realize that the food is good. Where they wanted to know, where are you going to be on Tuesday? Where are you going to be on Monday? Or they'll call, like, where are you serving today? And because of the license that we have, we can only do these type of events unless we get a commissary. So we look for a commissary, we'll get that, and then we'll be able to travel. Well, in the process of looking for a commissary, we've actually found a spot to do a restaurant. So we're actually working on building the restaurant so that people can have a place to come to, just like they can go to McDonald's, just like they can go to Burger King, just like they go to a sit-down restaurant, they can come to Gourmet Goody Box and have the same things. They don't have to worry about, what's in this? Is there egg in this? Is there milk in this? No, everything's 100% vegan, and it's not quote-unquote fast food, but you can sit down and enjoy, have a nice evening. Hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll be opening up the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been working like crazy people, but
that's a lot you got going on.
Oh, yes, it's a big deal.
This is going to be a smaller, like, intimate type, maybe 50-sitter type? Okay. Not, I want to get 300 people.
No, look, everything has been happening so organically. I just think that is the beauty of what we do. It's because I'm not forcing it. It's kind of like, it's little baby steps, cupcakes to sandwiches to, like, a sit-down gourmet meal. Like, it's just been absolutely beautiful and fun, the whole process.
Well, I like your approach. I can tell you from someone with the experience of, multiple businesses and seeing a lot of different people do stuff. Your approach is fine, what y'all doing. I like that approach, and it seems to, fit y'all. A lot of people, when they start seeing other people's success, and I'm sure you have people who whisper into your ears and try to tell you to do things, and that's just the, nature of them seeing something or whatever, but wanting to be a part of it or whatever.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to let it go in one ear and out the other, But what y'all doing, and y'all's, from what you've been describing, the way that y'all approach it, the organic way, and just letting it go from there.
For sure. I know when I first started just selling the cupcakes, I was selling it at my gym. And people was like, how you going to sell cupcakes at a gym? And I'm like, well, if you knew what my cupcakes were all about, then you would reconsider. Because if you're dealing, like, because we have, like, crazy types of flavors. So we have a sweet potato cupcake, which was like my number one cupcake in the beginning when people were willing to try them. You got the vitamin B12, B6, you got all these vitamins, not a lot of cane sugar, use a lot of natural sweeteners, even fruit, and selling at the gym. And I mean, it's only 30 calories for a mini cupcake. You know what I mean? So that's your walk to a elliptical for like 2 minutes. you burn that off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You still get to enjoy something sweet, something healthy. So to go from that to a sandwich that you can say is dairy free, milk free, meat free, all that good stuff, it's just like people are more willing to like, oh, this isn't bad. Maybe I could consider going vegan. And the customers actually paved the way. I mean, which I know I'm supposed to run my own business. I know I'm supposed to run that, but they kind of like encouraged me to go further.
But that's the thing though. You're listening, and that's how you are running the business.
Right.
Because if the customers are coming in and giving you instant feedback, and then you're able to log that and look at that, you start to see the trends as they're happening. So therefore, it's a small business. You're able to that's one of the great things about a small business compared to bigger businesses. They can't capitalize on that because then they got all this red tape they got to go through. You're able to capitalize on that, and being fluid is a great thing.
Right. I'm just glad the growth was gradual and organic. I know, of course, when the first person tried our cupcakes, like, oh, you need to open a bakery. I'm like, I only know you and your friend. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna open a bakery off of 2 people.
Start a bakery.
But I took it in,
Yeah.
But the more you hear it, more than just 10, 20 people, it's like hundreds of people that you meet every day or every 2 days or whatever for the market. It's just like, okay, maybe let me look into that,
How far would you say y'all's, I guess, market is? Or y'all, because a lot of people come to the farmers markets and make it in Warner Robins. How far is someone say they came back to this particular market just so they can get something from y'all?
Oh, we had a young lady from Augusta.
Oh, wow.
We had a young man from Valdosta.
Okay.
And that was he came based on just me posting on Facebook. He's like, I have to try this sandwich, the pool barbecue.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to come up there one day. I'm going to be surprised. So he actually called. He's like, okay, what exit I need to get off of? I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, where y'all at today? I was like, oh. So I gave him the address. My husband actually met him because we didn't have a market. But I was like, you drove all the way from Valdosta. We going to fix you a sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, we have a group, at least 15, 20 people that either come to the Wednesday market and then the next day they come to the Thursday market. Like, they follow us. Like, let me know when that restaurant is open because I'm going to be there. And those are kind of like the backbone of our company.
That's dope. I love that.
Yeah.
Because that's like your extended family.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are. We had a customer just last night that was helping us with the restaurant. And I was kind of like, I don't want no other customers, to see the ugly part of
But they know what
yeah.
exactly. It's not like they're expecting this, $300,000 restaurant or whatever. But you need people like that around y'all, to help keep the dream going, to help keep pushing it, and to see where it can go. Because without that, you don't know where it can go.
Right.
I'm like, y'all can end up, if you got people driving soon, probably in the near future, about 2-3 years, I don't know. Depends on how quick y'all keep going and growing. You might have to do a thing where people can order online. And you can just send it to them.
For sure. We were intentionally, like you said, going from office building. That was our goal, to create an app or something, just like these other big businesses, so that they can do that. We just want to be that. I could tell you this. When we first were even transitioning to go vegan, there's this restaurant in Orlando, Florida. We was living in Orlando at the time, called Ethos Vegan Kitchen. We would go there at least 5 or 6 times a week. Because it was good food. It was a vegan, you know what I mean? And it changed us. And so that's my mentality to do and make in Georgia. It's like, I want to be that for somebody else. You know what I mean? I want to be there like for somebody that's actually trying and they don't really know where to start. Like, I'm literally always open. I'm like, look, this is my number. You call me if you have any questions. We can meet up. I can go to the store with you. Because it's more than just, yes, this is my business. I want to make money. But I want this to be a lifestyle.
Exactly.
Not just once a week you come into the market, you know what I mean, which is great. I love to see your face and hug your neck, but I want you to be healthier, and I want your children, your spouse, for it to be a family.
And that affair right there will set you apart every single time, even if y'all get to the point to where competitors start popping up, because you show and you exude your passion, and you can't monetize that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Other people, they'll see it as an opportunity because you help create this industry
Mm-hmm.
or recognition for this type of market, and they'll jump in because they see dollars and cents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to do the things like going and showing somebody and educating them. They're not going to do that because they're not going to be able to monetize that and put a price on that. So I definitely see y'all going places, and I've been hearing about y'all.
Oh.
So yeah, I have. There's different people that I interviewed. I can't remember who it was, but there's like, yeah, their food is really good. And I was like, well, I got to try this.
Oh yeah, you
So
have to stop by.
I am. I'm gonna definitely stop by. I'm gonna get it on video. First reaction,
I love
because
that.
I've never tried vegan food.
Really?
So I really have not. And looking at the pictures and hearing about y'all's dishes, and because I go through the page and scroll through every time when I get the opportunity, I'm like, it doesn't look bad as far as presentation or anything like that. So I'm like, I'm really looking at these pictures like, I need to try this food because I like trying food anyway. But to never be able to have never been in a situation where I've tried vegan food and to get the right experience the first time.
That's the goal. That is the goal. Because so many people have bad experiences and they're scared to try it. I'm like, oh no, I remember my cousin made. I'm like, look, I'm not your cousin, baby, but
exactly,
try this. And we give freely like samples when we're out there on the food trailer because I'm gonna tell you right now, my brother-in-law is my biggest critic. He is the meat eater of all times. Like he don't eat nothing without meat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So any new recipe, you best believe he gets it. And I'm like, brother, what you think? Like I really listen to opinions because if he can tell you, no, sis, this ain't right. Cool, let me work on it. Yeah. Because I want it to be so familiar to the meat eater that they don't miss the meat. You know what I mean? And so that's important. Even with our pictures, I want you to recognize what you're eating. So that is
how's the support been within our community for you? Are they receptive?
Our community?
Our community
is actually slowly but surely coming full circle. We have some people that will walk by our couple times and then they'll finally try it because my cousin said this was good, or I seen your pictures on Facebook, I'm gonna finally try it. And so my goal, of course, is to feed my people, period. But there's certain elements that we suffer from versus other nations, and that's the reality of it. But slowly but surely it's coming around. I see a lot more people trying it out and then coming back.
Since you're in these two different markets, Macon and Warner Robins, I always have to ask people, and I don't really get the opportunity to ask this many people though. You function in both of them. How, are there any difference within the markets, or is it huge differences in the markets?
As far as like the people that come out
and support, and
not necessarily, but the Wednesday market is way shorter, so it's like nonstop work because we're only there from 3 to 6.
Okay.
It's like you get it in. I'm telling, like, if you think you're going to be after 6, please call me so I can go ahead and prepare your food at 6 and you can just come pick it up as we're closing down. The Thursday market is way longer. We try to get there at noon, and so it's from noon to 6. So the flow, it could be like bang, 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 and then slow down, and then. So it really just depends.
Okay, because people always say there's a difference between people who do business in Macon and people who do business on the Robins, and I'm like, they both look like the same type of market to me.
Yeah, I mean, basically it is. Like I said, a lot of our customers from Macon come to the Thursday market too, the second day, just to get our food. But as far as new people, I've just seen a lot of people, like especially like closing time when there's a lot of vendors closing down and people are just coming. I've heard that market's been in existence for a while, but we still get customers like, oh, I've never been here. I've always seen it as I drove by and just wanted to stop by. It's like, well, here's a sample. And they're like, oh, let me get that. So it really varies.
So I like to get into the nuts and bolts of the business, right? Because that's just my passion for business and stuff. So do you have it, I guess, down to a science or whatever, or like, okay, this particular item has a higher profit margin, because some people don't do that, and I think they should.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should know your business front and back. You know
Right.
what makes the most money, what doesn't. But then, you know, you can make your decisions how you want to or whatever. Because say if you know these three particular items do very well and are extremely high profit margin, then say if you want to try something new, you're able to test it out. As long as you sell these other items. So, are you in
Right.
tune?
We are.
Okay.
We are. I actually fussed at my husband the other day, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I know what what items sell more of.
Mhm.
So I'm like, we can't. Even though it's a blessing to sell out, we got to provide more food so we won't sell out as early. You know what I mean? So we definitely got down to the penny. Okay, it costs this much to make. This is how much we can get from if we sell about 10 of these. Yeah. And plus my husband, he's a computer person anyway, so he's constantly trying to see that. But there's certain items that go faster than others that we have to provide more of.
Mhm.
And the profit margin, because it is, even though it's organic veggies, it's still way cheaper than going to buy the meat substitutes from the store. Like I know a lot of people, or at least even the big corporations, they'll say, oh, we have a vegan patty or a veggie patty, but it's store-bought, it's whatever's in it. And they might buy it at a certain price because they're a corporation. But if an average person is going to the store themselves to buy a meat substitute, you're going to spend some money. Trust me, because when we first went vegan, after going to the restaurant, we had to okay, we need to scale back. We would start going to buy the meat substitutes, and you only get like 4 patties for like $8.
Yeah.
Not $8, but it's
Yeah.
expensive.
It is.
And so we found if we just use the best ingredients, the best veggies, I can create our patties, our burgers. Because still mentally, even though it's going on 7 years, we've been vegan personally. It's just like I always have to physically see some type of meat looking food on my plate, and that's just years. I'm gonna tell my age, but that's years of eating meat. You know what I mean? That you're used to seeing some meat-like substance on your plate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what is that meat substance made of?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Let people know how they can, find the company and how they need to place orders and things like that.
For sure. So, of course, we're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And both pages are Gourmet Goody Box. And you can just see our little emblem, Gourmet Goody Box. And you can either place an order there, actual on, instant message me or DM me or whatever on those avenues. Or you can just give us a call, 478-254-0816.
Okay.
Again, that's 478-254-0816. But you can always give us a call. I or my husband will answer the phone. It's just us two.
They could kind of late at night or nothing like that. Y'all still got to have y'all's downtime from the business.
We do. And that's why I'm glad we're having the restaurant. Because we do get calls throughout the week outside of our things. And we were at one point delivering. And we were doing meetups.
That's a lot of
It's a lot.
work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And so, and I was cool with that because with my heart, I'm like, oh, they're really trying. I need to get this sandwich to them. Like, babe, I'll be right back. Or, babe, can you run this to them? But it was too much. And then us trying to do the restaurant, it'll easy to separate the two. Even though it is a part of me, it'll be able to, Gourmet Goody Box, I don't have to answer until I get in.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, you definitely have to. I can tell you that from personal experience, man. If you don't turn that switch off, oh my God, it just it gets too murky.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even want to do it anymore because it's just so draining.
I don't want that.
No, you don't want that. Please, no, you do not want that. You don't want something to take away from
my love and my passion.
Your love and passion, exactly. Like I tell people, you want to be able to wake up and do it just for the love of it or whatever, knowing that, you're going to make money from it, but that's not the main focus.
Right.
But yeah, you still want to keep that passion because it's what keeps you going and keeps you with innovative and, the creativity aspect of it and being able to push and push and push and get it to a point to where, you never could have imagined where it is. But I did want to ask, before we start to wrap up, I guess, because of the way that you are going and, if you're expanding and you do have plans to expand, will you be, taking on any type of internships or any culinary students? Because I've recently learned it was about 4 or 5 months ago that I didn't even know that Macon had a culinary school. It's over there on Eisenhower.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I just happened to bump. I was at Wingstop. I like to go to Wingstop,
Mm-hmm.
and what I like their fries, and then I also like their flavor of the wings. But when I was there, I saw this girl in the culinary outfit. I was like, "Oh, you go to culinary school?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Where is that at?" Like over there, over the Goodwill, or whatever. So I'm like, on Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, didn't even know that. Wow, that's something good. But do y'all have plans to, bring other people in and, at least give them that experience so then they can take that, either stay and help build, or they can take that and go somewhere else?
Yeah, we would love to do something like that. Literally, since we've been, especially at the Macon Market, is right there. Mercer University is like right there. So we have a lot of college students that come. And so we have a couple people like, oh, if you need me to help, I'm there, So that's been a blessing in itself. Customers just I want to help. I want to be a part. And we definitely want to extend that to them once we get up and running so that I actually know what I'm doing. And and get people to, to help in that aspect. But the Eisenhower, I do remember seeing that school. We're actually going to be located off of Eisenhower at the Macon State Farmers Market.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. The fact that there's local farmers there that we can just get our produce from, it makes it just even more homier and more, you know what I mean?
Just
just
logistically, I'm like, it works out.
It's
you
beautiful.
Right there. So, yeah, that's definitely dope. I like that. So, any other words you have for the people you want to leave them with?
Yeah, pretty much mind over matter. Stay encouraged. Let your goal be healthy. Not necessarily just fit into a certain type of size that you want to, which is a good goal to have, but let that not be your main focus. There's a lady that was talking about how I wanted the skinny part. What part of vegan is the skinny part? I want that part. This lady was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, I want that part too. But in reality, yeah, I drop a couple pounds when I, on this journey. But there's that point where you kind of like settle in. But the fact that I know that I'm healthy, I'm getting healthier. I'm always trying to figure out just healthier juices and just smoothies. I love smoothies. Just something just to give me that extra boost throughout the day. Is just so be encouraged. Pretty much, keep on the documentaries. Look me up because I'm part of another organization that deals with our people in this vegan lifestyle.
What was that?
Black Vegan Social.
Okay. Is it a group on Facebook?
It's a group on Facebook.
Okay.
Young lady, Gigi Graham, awesome, sweet lady. There's different chapters, and so I'm the president over this Macon, Perry, Warner Robins area, so we do meetups. But yeah, just be encouraged. Just keep it on your mind. Stay connected with your food. That's basically it, pretty much.
Okay. Definitely. Well, I appreciate your time and coming through. Definitely. Shoot. We do media coverage as well for outside events. I don't know if you've seen any of our stuff. So if you want to do a grand opening type thing for the restaurant, then we can work on that. Yeah, we can work on that. But definitely any other time you want to come back and talk about your groups or anything in general with the community, definitely have a platform and open invitation to do so.
That's beautiful. I appreciate you. No, for real. I do. Honestly, you can ask my husband, this is another one of the things that I like to do is I like to talk, as you see. No, really? I do like to talk, and I do voiceovers and stuff like that. So this is like my home, too. I love being here with you. I appreciate
a woman of many times. I'm like, you're creative. I can tell you sing, right?
I do.
Yeah, so I can tell. I didn't even ask you what you did as far as your craft. I could just guess that, educated guess. You sing, you just like creating stuff, passionate about, the food and really helping our people. And we need more individuals out there being promoted like yourself to, just encourage and inspire other ones as well to do so. So,
and that's what we have to do. We was talking about it today in our class. We do a Sabbath class, and being that influence not just for the people around you but for your children, because our children is what's going to carry this thing out. So
it is.
It's vital.
All right, so everybody out there, especially everybody in the Middle Georgia area, anybody who's coming through tourism, all that stuff, cherry blossom is coming up a little bit. So anybody who's coming through the state of Georgia and you're coming through Macon or Warner Robins, definitely check out Gourmet Goody Box. Buy some cupcakes, buy some sandwiches, come back more, when they go online, you're gonna order some plates. So just putting that out there in the future. Y'all heard it here first.
Right, so.
Definitely, y'all check them out. Y'all go and check out their Facebook page as well. I'm going to go try out some of their menu items, so I'll let y'all know how that goes. But y'all make sure y'all look them up on Facebook. I am your host, Andreas, and we are out.